Hi, this is Mary Eve with the Harrison County Purdue Extension Office, and we're going to have another mini lesson today, and we are going to learn about weaving. The materials you'll need for this project are paper, maybe crayons, scissors, a ruler, pencil, construction paper if you have it, and then a glue stick. We'll find directions on how to do this project in our mini sewing manual. And we'll flip to the page on how to weave a placemat. And here is an example of a completed one with construction paper. If you do not have colored construction paper at home, it's okay. You can use crayons and white paper, as in this example here that I just tore apart, and to make your own colored paper. So construction paper is not necessary if you don't have it at home. Following our directions, we're going to take a sheet of paper and fold this lengthwise in half. So you're holding it so the long edge is at the top and the bottom, and you're going to fold it in half. I'm first starting with the white, but I'll switch this to a blue. I just want you to see more clearly what I'm doing. So I don't make this a sharp crease, just a loose crease. And then I'm going to measure out 1-inch increments along the edge here, and then about an inch in from the edge, because I don't want to cut the paper all the way through on the edge. And on this piece of paper, I don't know if you can see it, but I've already started my 1-inch increments at the bottom, and they are about an inch from the edge of the paper. So let me make just a few more 1-inch marks at the top. And hold your ruler straight across the edge at the top and just mark little dots at each number. So there's 5, 6, 7, and 8. And from here you want to make straight lines, again not marking in the 1-inch border at the end. So you're going to connect the dots and just go down to that one dot right there. Okay, and I've already done another piece of paper with most of the lines, so you can see what I'm up to. And I will just continue making the lines until I get to the end of the paper. Okay, now we're going to switch to the blue because I'm using the blue as the background. So you can see what I've done so far. So far we've just folded the paper in half, marked our lines, kept a 1-inch border at the edge. So here it is in blue, and you'll want to start cutting at the folded edge so that your border stays uncut. And we're just going to follow the lines. If you get a little bit outside the line, it's okay, because this is going to be the underside of your weaving. And we are almost done. And you can have a parent do the cutting if you don't feel comfortable doing it this way. And then we're going to open it up. And now you can see all the different strips that we just cut. And we still have a nice clean border around the outside of our weaving. Now the next thing we have to do is cut our strips. We're going to be cutting 1-inch strips, so that when we weave with our strips here, we're going to get a nice clean 1-inch block, because we cut the paper into 1-inch strips, the blue paper. So I'm going to mark my paper at each one of the inch marks, and then move it to the top side. Mark it up here at each of the 1-inch marks. And make sure when you're holding the ruler that your finger is not covering one of the numbers. because then you may not get your measurements correct. Okay, then after you have made each of your marks, take your ruler, make straight lines again. And these are going to be your 1-inch strips. And I have another piece of paper here where we have them all lined out. And then all you have to do is follow the line and cut straight strips. Try to stay within the line. If you don't, it's okay. Just try to be as close as you can. So for this, we need a total of 9 white strips. And since I already have some cut, and you can see what I've done, we will go on to our weaving. So we have our blue piece of paper with all the lines cut in it. We have all of our white pieces of paper. And what we're going to do is to follow a chart that looks like this for a simple weave. The blue piece of paper is your warp, and normally on a loom this would be the threads that are already on the loom, and your weft is what they use to run through the threads to make the cloth. So we're going to start going under the first one, over the second, under the third strip, over the fourth, under the fifth strip, over the sixth, and you see we're just going over, under, and when we are done, it's going to look kind of like a checkerboard, and you want your ends to be hidden, and then kind of push your paper down to where it stops at your border. Now your next one has to go the opposite way. To continue weaving with this strip, and on the last strip that you did, if you went over, you're going to go under on this strip. Then when you get the strip all the way through, you want to push it down so that it meets up with the first strip. And we'll continue doing this. Your third strip will be like your first, so you'll start under, go over, under, and you can see I'm kind of lifting the blue strips of paper so I can tuck the white weft under the blue warp. And instead of trying to shove it underneath, may as well give it a little helping hand. So we've got it all the way through, and we're going to gently push it down to the last strip. And we're going to continue to do this till we have the whole page through. Now this one, I have just a couple more strips I have to put on. So we're getting toward the end, and you see your next one we have to start on top and then go under. Gets a little trickier as you run out of your warp toward the end, and just slowly work it through. Don't want to shove it, because then you'll end up making a crease in your paper. And push that against the strip before. And one more strip. So this one was on top, so our next one's going to be underneath. And we should have just enough room to tuck this last strip in. Might take just a little maneuvering to get it in there. There we go. Almost done. And you are done weaving. And that was not very difficult, was it? Now on your little ends here, you see that they're kind of flipped up, and that's what our glue stick is for. So you just gently pick up one of the white squares there, put a little glue on there, and just press it down. And you can use this either to put on the wall as decoration, or if you have some clear contact paper or a laminating machine, you can laminate this and make a placemat out of it. You can use it as a placemat this way, but it's going to end up getting a little bit dirty since it's just the paper. So we do one more, and then I'm going to show you examples of other weaving. Now, if you need a little more of a challenge than just our plain weaving here, this piece, same colors, and what I did on this one was to cut 1/2 inch strips instead of full inch strips. And you can see this is not quite the same as a checkerboard pattern. In this pattern, I went under 1 and over 2 and alternated that. So you can see it's a little bit different pattern. And what is interesting is if I flip it over, then just the one white squares come through. So this one you could use either way, so with just the little white squares or with the long lines. And then if you want another challenge, this is just a simple loom that you can make at home. This is a frame from the Dollar Tree, and all I did was to take out the glass and the cardboard that comes with that, and then just take a string that does not stretch and make your warp going to the front and around the picture frame. Then I took a craft needle with some yarn, and we just did a simple weave going in and out and in and out, and then each row you go the opposite way. So if you started on top on one row, the first string here, you would start underneath. Then this is a loom that my husband and I made of just scrap wood. I have never woven before, and so I wanted to learn how. And you are never too old or too young to learn something new. So this is already taken off of the loom, and you can see here if you look closely that these are a lot of different patterns. So you can make patterns like this one is very interesting. So this is over 3, under 1, over 1, under 2. It's a little intricate, but if you just start out and go slowly and follow the directions that you find either in a library book or online, you'd be able to do this too. And maybe you want to try it out on paper first and see how it looks. But any way you start weaving, whether it's paper, with a small make-it-yourself loom, or a larger loom, just have some fun. And thank you for joining us.